7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, Rick Pete back here with another video, and this is going to be another sort of brief history kind of type vibe. Basically, if you've read the sort of description about my channel, you'll know that I have a collection of replica belts. Some of the videos obviously have been of ones that I've restoned, but basically what I will be doing is all the replica belts I've bought are all ones that I've liked. I've never actually just bought a replica just for the sake of buying a belt. Some of them, have been around, like they're older belts, like the one I'm going to do the video about now, that I only got into, later on. So, like I said, this has been featured in one of my other videos, and is a belt that I had liked from early 2000, well, yeah, early 2000-ish. But obviously it has a deeper history, which is what I'm briefly going to go into. So I will be honest, this is not all off the top of my head knowledge. A lot of this is like from doing research on Google, Wikipedia, that type of thing, just like making notes. I'm not going to read off everything that was on Wikipedia, because if you want to know, you go look for it yourself. These are just basically quick notes that I've made with my favourite holders of the belts, people that I know. Don't know if you can see, obviously I'm wearing a Four Horsemen t-shirt. It is kind of relevant to the, oops, sorry about the vibration there, the bounce, sorry. It's kind of relevant to the belt that I'm going to be doing a brief history of. So without further ado, here is the belt in question, and it is the NWA World Tag Team Championship. Now, like I said, I did do some research on this on Wikipedia and through Google, etc. What I found weird about this, given the entire history of the NWA and the fact that they had one world champion, but obviously all the territories had their version of a champion. I found it slightly strange that the NWA didn't actually have a recognised World Tag Team Championship until 1992. Again, obviously with the territories, they promoted their own tag team championships, but there was never actually an official NWA tag title. That was the case until the mid-80s. Jim Crockett Promotions, which became like the flag bearer for the NWA, they openly referred to their Mid-Atlantic titles as the NWA World Tag Team Championship. So in 1988, a lot of you may know, Jim Crockett Promotions became World Championship Wrestling, WCW. Titles got renamed the World Championship Wrestling Tag Team Championship, or the WCW Tag Team Championship. 1992, NWA had a tournament to crown an officially sanctioned NWA World Tag Team Champions. Tournament was held by WCW, whose Tag Team Championship, was the only existing sort of claim for a title within the NWA, and WCW had the most widely available, sort of broadcasting area on TV. They were the most accessible, so they claimed the NWA tags as the WCW tags. So they had this tournament. Like I said, all this information is just brief stuff off Wikipedia. Tournament was won by Terry Gordy, Steve Williams, I believe that's Dr. Death later on, and they also won the WCW World Tag Championship. So they unified them, and then in 1993 the WCW became its own brand, left the NWA, which seemed to be a trend for later on with another organisation, and the titles were vacated, just abandoned. So in 1995 there was a tournament. I don't know who held it, sorry to sort of let that down, but that was won by the Rock and Roll Express. The NWA belts being paid for by WCW. So after they sort of left the NWA, the NWA belts were used for the WCW World Tag Team Championship. So obviously NWA had to pay for new belts, which were later used by TNA until the NWA and TNA split. Again, another company leaving NWA in May of 2007. This, I believe, is this is the version I remember seeing TNA using. This is the version that some of my favourite teams, I will get to, held. An interesting fact, the last team to hold the NWA tag titles in TNA was Team 3D, which obviously Bully or Bubba Ray and Devon. So January 2008, NWA withdrew its recognition of every championship, every tag champion in WCW. So basically they just wiped the slate. They did the opposite to what WWE does, where they claim, some people who had the NWA world title, even though that was nothing to do with the WWF, but that's a different story. So you got fast forward to the summer of 2013, when the NWA revealed new designs for the tag and its North American Championship. So as of July 2015, which is when I did the research for this video, so there may be some changes. So if there are, I apologise. But there have been 75 total reigns recognised by the NWA. So I'm assuming that's not including anybody who held it for WCW. The longest reign and most cumulative days as champions belongs to a team called the Skull Crushers. I've never heard of them, I'll be honest, but I'm assuming some of my friends over there in the States, any of you guys watching this video might be a bit more familiar with them than I am. So yeah, they only had one reign, but it lasted 777 days, which I previously mentioned in one of my other videos. Demolition's 478-day reign seemed pretty impressive. 777 days is a hell of a long time. So either they were bringing in a lot of money, or they were just nobody good enough to take the belts off them. But big props to the Skull Crushers for having that long a title reign. So yeah, America's Most Wanted, who, like I said, are the guys I remember holding this belt, which is obviously, to those of you in the know, or those of you, sorry, aren't in the know, is Chris Harris and James Storm. They share a team and individual record for the most reigns. They won it together 6 times, and then they each won it another separate time with a member of Triple X. Triple X was Elix Skipper, Christopher Daniels, and Senshi, but I can't remember his original name. Low-Key. But yeah, so America's Most Wanted won it 6 times, and they won it again, each of them with a member of Triple X. Chris Harris won it with Elix Skipper. James Storm won the titles with Christopher Daniels. I do remember them having some awesome matches in TNA for the belts. I would highly recommend you check them out. Any Triple X versus America's Most Wanted matches were great. The cage matches where Elix Skipper just walked up the top of the 6-sided cage, just threw himself into the ring, just absolutely just mental. One of the maddest things I've ever seen, with the exception of AJ's dive off of the lighting rig onto the top of the lockdown cage. As I'm filming this, I believe the champions are still Davey Boy Smith Jr., British, and Lance Hoyt. Sorry, Davey Boy Smith will be British Canadian, I suppose, really. They are the Killer Elite Squad, and they're in their second reign as a team. Again, if that's not correct, if things have changed since I filmed this, because obviously I filmed this, it doesn't always get posted straight up, so they may have lost the titles since and regained them or whatever. So if that's not right, please don't bombard me with grief and abuse, because as I film this now, they are the champions, and obviously they wrestle for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and yeah, they are. David Boy Smith Jr. Is just a spit of his dad, basically. Some previous holders of this title: Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas, which is a tag team I'd actually like to see wrestle. To see if I can find footage of that. Hollywood Blondes, obviously that's Steve Austin, who became Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Brian Pillman, who later became the Loose Cannon. The Headbangers, and they were the first team involved in a title change on WWF TV when they wrestled with the NWA tag titles on the line. Barry Windham and Tully Blanchard won the belt. The Public Enemy have held the belts. Obviously, as I've mentioned, AMW, Triple X, the Three Live Crew, which was BG James, or Road Dogg, as WWF fans know him, and Ron Killings, who WWE fans will know as R-Truth. And Conan was part of that group. Conan obviously was currently in Lucha Underground. The Naturals, which was Chase Stevens and Idol Williams. Yeah, I believe that's right. There was Team Canada, which is like Bobby Roode, Peter Williams, Eric Young. There was the Latin American Exchange, which was Hernandez and Homicide. And I believe they had Conan with them briefly. I think he left or turned on Three Live Crew and joined up with LAX. AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels as well. They are probably the AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and AMW are probably the teams that I remember most holding this. Obviously, on the Three Live Crew and Triple X, mostly through watching early TNA. Like I said, longest reign is the Skull Crushers, or one reign of 777 combined days. The Dark City Fight Club, their name was familiar to me when I was doing a bit of research. They've had two reigns, and their combined is a 742 day reign, which again is impressive. Anything over a year, I mean, especially nowadays, is classed as a massively long title hold. Then it's AMW with 6 reigns, lasting 517 days combined. And then it's the Killer Elite Squad. We're on their second reign, like I say, as I'm filming this now. And then on 476 plus days. So it'd be interesting to see if they can beat the Skull Crushers reign of 777. So yeah, that's my quick video on the a brief history of the NWA World Tag Title. Like I say, anybody who wants to check out any of the matches, I would highly recommend anything from TNA. Obviously, there's a lot of other matches from that I haven't actually seen myself that I do intend to get around to watching. It's just hard at the moment with the kids being on holiday and stuff. But yeah, there are a lot of great champions in that list, and there's probably some absolutely amazing matches being fought for these belts. And like I said, the early TNA stuff I can vouch for. I've seen a lot of those. Anything that involves Barry Windham and Tully Blanchard, Horseman, they're going to be great matches. So yeah, I would highly recommend that you check those matches out and see what wrestling was as opposed to sports entertainment. Yeah, so once again, that's my video about the NWA World Tag Champions. Like I say, it's just a little bits that I googled. Wikipedia did a bit of research on. I didn't want to make too many notes because I didn't want the video to go on for hours and hours and people get bored after about 20 minutes. So I was just basically, it was just a quick backstory on the title. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. please leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you like to. There's plenty of other videos there of mine that I've done. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon with a new video.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.